Welcome back, guys, to another video where I share everything that I know about the car business with you guys. And in case you don't know who I am, my name is Brad. I'm a former dealership sales manager, and I now negotiate car deals for great people like yourselves. So the very first and most important question that I get asked is, Brad, where do they make the money and how much money do they make? So that is something that I'm going to go over with you guys right now. So the number one most important thing that we need to learn and understand is the concept of PAC. PAC. So what is PAC? PAC is just built-in dealer profit is all that is. Now, where does that come in? How do you see it? It changes from dealership to dealership, but this is how it works. So let's say that we are looking at a brand new 2026 Toyota RAV4. Okay, that's the car that we are looking to buy today. So there are two important numbers that almost everybody knows. You have the MSRP, okay? Let's say that on this specific car, $37,000 is our MSRP. Now you also have the invoice. The invoice is what the dealership actually has to pay Toyota for the car. Let's say the invoice on here is $35,000. Okay, so the dealership should, if they're selling you the car for MSRP, the dealership should make $2,000 in profit, right? MSRP is what they sell it to you for, $37,000. Invoice is $35,000. However, this is where PAC comes into play. So this is the first place that they pad profits. What they do is they add an imaginary number, let's call it $1,500, to what they own the car for. So again, that same invoice is still going to be $35,000. Well, when you add PAC of $1,500, they now own that same exact car for $36,500. Now, why is that a thing? Why is that important? So that is a thing because salespeople get paid on the profit of the cars. So now if you have the exact same car owned for $36,500 and they sell it to you for MSRP of $37,000, there's only a $500 profit. Now, the sales guy gets paid a portion of that, typically about 25%. So that's nothing, right? There's nothing. That's what we'll qualify for what's called a flat. They get a minimum amount that they get paid, which is typically $250 or so. That's what they would get paid instead of the 25% of 500. Now, if they would have paid them on that whole $2,000 times 25% is now $500. They now cut the bill for that sales guy down in half. And now they also show you, the consumer, they also show you that they are giving you a huge nasty deal because it's a $2,000 loser. No, it's not. They're selling it to you for invoice. $37,000, $2,000 less is invoice. Now, invoice isn't even the best deal, but that is a video for another time. The other way that they make money that is on top of PAC is a doc fee. It could also be called dealer fee or a couple other things that are the same exact thing. It's a doc fee. Here in Florida, unfortunately, it's around $1,000. Now, why does that matter? Because again, they can discount the car even further and pay sales guys on even less money. So when you take the PAC, which again is all fluff, you add the dealer fee, you now are adding $2,500 that you don't have to pay the sales guy out of. That $2,500 is huge, right? Because when you multiply this, at at 25%, you now are saving yourself $625 per car deal in commission. Now, that also goes for managers as well. Managers will typically see a portion of this, typically not all of it. They will also see sometimes a portion of the doc fee. Again, not all of it, even though that's dealer profit and that's how managers get paid, is how much money that the dealership makes. They still don't even see this. So this is just padding the profit of the owner. That is all that this is for. Again, it also goes to help pay for marketing and whatnot as well, but all towards the owner. The other way that they make money is off of holdback or manufacturer money. What that is money that the manufacturer will send directly to the dealer. So for example, let's say Toyota, right? In their invoice statement, they know exactly how much money they're gonna get back from Toyota after they sell that car. So that, again, doesn't change your invoice. That same invoice of $35,000 doesn't change, but they know when they sell that car, they're gonna get something like $900 back. So if they sell it to you for invoice, again, they have holdback coming. They also have, especially in the Toyota world, big volume bonuses. So the more that you sell, you're gonna get even more back, and that's just bonus money from the dealer. Or Pinnacle money, that is Cadillac, okay? So they are going to get every single quarter, they get a huge chunk of money. It's something like $3,000 per car. Per car, $3,000. So again, if that same invoice is $35,000 at Cadillac and they're gonna get $3,000 back from the manufacturer, what do they actually own that car for? $32,000. That is what they actually own that car for once they sell it and they get that big check back from the manufacturers. So this is all the places that they will get profit from, not including the warranties and stuff they sell you, which is going to be for later this video. Now, you have, again, pack, $1,500, fluff money. Doc fee, $1,000. Fluff, holdback, what they're gonna get from the manufacturer selling you a new car. So overall, after you add all these things together, they're going to save $3,400 from paying people out. That is huge. Huge amount of money. Now, typically managers get this, they get a portion and they get a portion. So managers doesn't change a whole lot. But sales guys, that is a big chunk of money. This $3,400 for every single car at 25% is roughly, if my math is right, about $850 that they don't have to pay the sales guy for every single car if they sold it to you for MSRP. Every single one. So that is why they do things like this, to make sure that they pad their own pockets. Now we need to learn the two places that they call profit. That is from the front end. What the front end is what they actually make on the car. So if the car is owned for $35,000 and they sell it for $38,000, that's that $3,000 difference. So that is what the front end is. It's just their basic profit they are going to make on the car. So they own the car for $35,000, they're going to sell it for $38,000, and they will profit $3,000 from that. Now, if you were to incorporate the pack, they're only really gonna make $1,500. That's all they're gonna pay their sales guy on. They're making another $1,000 from the doc fee, and then they're gonna make some more money from holdback. But on a used car, they're simply only gonna make this plus their pack. And then they have back end. This is where they make a majority of their money. Now this is going to incorporate everything that you do in the finance offices. So that is going to be all of your warranties. Okay, your warranties is all back-end product. Here in Florida, pretty much all the warranties are stuck to a single price, so you can't really negotiate them down. However, if you do go to other states, they are negotiable on your warranties. That is a huge thing to know. If you're in Florida, not much you can do. out of state, we can negotiate those, which is going to be fantastic for you. Now, the other way that they make money in the back end, interest rate. Everybody's favorite thing is the interest rate. So what does that mean? This is exactly how they make money off your interest rate. So there are two important things that you need to know when it comes to interest rate. So you're gonna have your buy rate, and then you're gonna have your sell rate. Now, what the heck does this mean? So buy rate is exactly what the dealership gets bought from the bank. So let's say at 72 months, your buy rate is gonna be 5%. Okay, that's what the credit union, the bank, whoever gave you was 5%. That's what they bought it for. Now, this is where they make the money, is on the sell rate. This is what they sell it to you at and where you sign up for it. Most of the time they can hold up to 2 points of room, okay? So they can buy it at 5%, that's what the credit union gives us, but they're gonna sell it to you at 7%. This is what you're gonna sign your paperwork at. So the dealership will make a 2% profit on your interest rate. Now, what the heck does that mean for you monetarily? What this means for you is if, let's say, you are borrowing $35,000, okay? If you are borrowing $35,000 and they make 2% off of you at 72 months, they have now profited $2,500 off of you. Yes, they didn't do anything. All they do is make $2,500 and they made your payment go up about $40 a month. That's it. So you can change that by coming in educated, know exactly what your credit union or bank is going to give you for a rate, and tell the dealership, if you match it or beat it, fantastic. Fantastic. You save money. Maybe they can even make a little bit of money. Everybody's happy that way. But you have to know exactly what you're doing, because if not, you will get clobbered here. Absolutely clobbered. Listen, I used to work for a high line store. They would do this on financing $150,000. We can do the math here. That's making over $10,000 just in interest rate. And they didn't do anything. They didn't sell you a warranty. You didn't buy a warranty. They didn't do anything. All they did was make money on your interest rate, $11,000. Kaboom. Now, warranties, they make about 40%. So they don't make a crazy amount of money. I mean, it is a decent amount of money. And again, everything changes from warranty, from car to mileage, to everything changes when it comes to this. But the rough number, about 40% on each warranty. The other main thing that a lot of people do buy, at least here in the state of Florida, gap insurance. Guaranteed asset protection is what that stands for. So that helps you if you're ever upside down in a loan. So let's say you owe $40,000 on a car that's only worth $35,000. If God forbid you were to ever total that car, you're on the hook for that $5,000 difference, or gap insurance can pay for it. That's the other way to get around that. And just so you know how much money they make on this, this is completely variable. They can sell it to you for whatever, wherever you are. Now, sometimes they'll sell it to you for, let's say, $1,200. Now, that's not bad, especially if it might save you $5,000, $10,000, depending on how much you're financing and how long you drive. That could not be a bad deal. However, depends on the exact gap insurance. This can cost dealerships $180. Yes, they are going to make over $1,000 on you for selling gap insurance, which you already need, and they didn't do anything. Nothing. Sometimes it might cost $400, $500. It can cost $180. Huge difference there. They will make a ton of money. Now you can see the back end is where they make all the money. Now we can start seeing exactly how much money they start making in the back end. So let's say they sell you a warranty in the back end for $3,000. Okay, let's say they sell you gap insurance for $1,200, and let's say they're making 2% on your interest rate. So now we can start seeing where all this money is slowly going to start going. Now, when you deduct their cost of 60% here on the warranty, you're going to deduct $180 on the gap insurance and 0% on your interest rate. So let's say in this example, after your warranty, gap insurance, and everything, you're going to be financing $35,000. Okay, this is how much money they are making in the back. When you buy that $3,000 warranty, they're making $1,200. On this gap insurance, another $1,000. And over here on your 2% points in interest because you didn't come prepared, just shy of $2,500. Now, when you add all of these things together, they have now made $4,700 off of you. That's how much money they made because you bought a warranty, bought gap insurance, interest, and you didn't know they were making 2 points off of you. You didn't know that this was $1,000 too high. Warranty, nothing you can do about it, state in Florida, but in other states, you can negotiate that as well. So now they made $4,700 off you. And now don't forget about you can't forget about your pack, and you can't forget about your dock fee. There's some more money. Now, when you add everything together, the profit from the back end, the pack, and the dock fee, they have now made $7,200 off of you. That is where they did it, and this is all in hidden money that you had no idea about it, assuming that you paid what they actually owed the car for. Assuming that. So let's say they made $1,000 on the front end. Boom, there's another $1,000 they made. They made $8,200 off of you. And you had no idea because you didn't know these things existed. Please, people, come in educated to the dealership. This is how you save money. So to recap, there are 3 places that they make money. The front, the back, and the fluff. That's your pack and your dealer fee. Okay, so let's say in the front end they made $1,000 off of you. Okay, you thought you were giving them a reasonable offer. They even showed you what they own the car for. They made $1,000 here. And then in our back end scenario where we bought a warranty, gap insurance, and they made money on your interest rate, another $4,700. And then when you add the fluff of the pack and the dock fee, this is how they start making all of the money. $1,000 plus $4,700 plus $2,500. That is a lot of money. If you are finding this video a little bit late and you've already negotiated a deal with the dealership, you're not quite sure if it's a good one or not, I'm gonna have my email linked below. Let me look at your deal completely free. I'll let you know if it's a good one or not, or what you can probably make a little bit better leeway on with the dealership and save yourself some more money. And of course, if this process is overwhelming for you and you just don't want to do it yourself, I take care of all of it for you. I'll negotiate your car deal and make sure it gets dropped off to your house, and you can electronically sign everything, any dealer, anywhere in the nation. Make sure you like and subscribe so as I keep giving all of my information out that I know, you can stay on top of it.